what an L for me. Oh God, that audio is probably an L as well. I just recorded a whole race preview with the audio off. So we'll go again. We're previewing Monza. I can't remember half the stuff I said, so this will probably be a shorter video. Monza. We've just come from Zandvoort. We didn't do a race review for Zandvoort because of the George Russell news, and we thought we were better off covering that and talking to you about that. Let me just drink my water because, to be honest with you, my throat's hurting now. Absolute shambles. Okay. Yeah, so that's why we didn't do one for Zandvoort. Simply because of the George Russell news and the Valtteri Bottas news that came out. But it wasn't the greatest of races in terms of it was a strategy race, it was a slow burner. And we just feel like there was nothing for us to add. Nothing really happened for us to comment on other than Valtteri Bottas really getting thrown under the bus. But we're happy with that on this channel. So, going to Monza. Teams that I think can do really well. McLaren, Alpine, Aston Martin, if they get on top of their troubles, and their troubles are going to be very similar to Mercedes. They've lost that downforce at the rear, and that means they probably won't be able to run as extreme a package as everyone else. So even though Red Bull have come out saying that Mercedes are going to take back their advantage, they're going to be faster at Monza, I don't think that's necessarily true. And if they are, I think they're going to have a much more difficult race car that's going to hurt their tyres. Because I feel like Mercedes is either going to have to go with the skinny extreme downforce package and deal with a lot of understeer, oversteer, a lively rear end coming through, the final corner and getting out on power out of these slow speed corners, or they're going to have to run a little bit more downforce and sacrifice the straight, which you can't really do that well in Monza. So Red Bull are giving it all that, but I think it's still advantage Red Bull going into Monza. Yeah, that's my thoughts. Unless Mercedes bring an upgrade package for Monza, I've not heard about anything. They definitely could, they certainly could, why not? But I've not heard anything, and I'm not sure how they'd get through that fundamental rear downforce issue that's come with the regulations that's hurt those concepts in those type of cars. Aston Martin are going to struggle with all the same things. They struggled last weekend. They'll probably struggle this weekend. It's not what we want to see, but it's just a fact. The circuit, it's too much of a compromise for them to make, I think. And Aston Martin don't have the resources that Mercedes have. They don't have the car that Mercedes has at the moment. They're running an outdated car. So however much Mercedes struggle, Aston Martin are going to struggle 2-3 times as much, in my opinion. Then you get onto the other teams. McLaren could have a really good weekend. Zandvoort was a bit of a horror show for McLaren in terms of where we're used to seeing them. And that had a lot to do with the track layout. That had a lot to do with the fact that they didn't get clear running. Qualifying was compromised. Lando couldn't really get out of the... Well, he couldn't get out of Q2, but he couldn't get out of the unfortunate luck, similar to how Verstappen had it in practice. But all weekend I was thinking, next session, McLaren will do it, next session, and they just never came. I don't think the track suited them for whatever reason. I'm not that technical, I don't know why. But like Spa, a power sensitive circuit where you still need a little bit of downforce. Monza might suit them. It's Spa, it's more power sensitive, it's more everything, it's a temple of speed. Lando Norris should be able to get on top of it. He's been in the form of his life. He's been driving extremely well, and there's no reason why he can't be challenging Perez and Bottas right up there at the top. Then you move on to Ricciardo. 2014, last of the late breakers. Ricciardo really stamped his seal on Formula One with that move. I think it was down the inside of Raikkonen. It might have been Rosberg. He likes this track. It's his type of track. Heavy braking zones, plenty of chances for overtaking. If there's a track that he's going to really explode out of the gate, explode off the grid, show everyone that he's comfortable with the McLaren now, this is going to be that track. If he doesn't, then I think he's going to have problems. He's going to have problems, confidence problems. He'll know himself that if he can't do it here, at what is a simple track, a simple track. No track's simple in a Formula 1 car. But at one of the most simpler tracks, the more classic tracks, traditional, hard on the brakes, hard on the power, that's what he needs to do. And keep the car under control. Then if you can't keep the car under control at these types of races, he's gonna have a problem going forward. I don't know how they're gonna deal with it. I think they're just hoping that next year the car changes fundamentally. The car is changing fundamentally, and that changes enough to see Ricciardo feel more at home with the car. So that's McLaren. I think Norris is probably just going to be straight on it, good, challenging, wowing everyone like he's been doing this whole season. Ricciardo, this is his chance to shine, and if he doesn't do it here, there are already serious doubts, but they'll just be deepened. Another team, Alpine. This is based off of the fact that Renault used to go well. They used to go well at Spa. I can remember in that season before last, so whenever we saw the last Renault racing, they did well around Spa, they did well around Monza. That means in the package, there is speed if they've not killed it somehow. That package has what that package needs to go fast at this track. They have Fernando Alonso, one of the greatest ever drivers. They have Esteban Ocon, who is somehow pushing one of the greatest ever drivers. They should score decent points here, hopefully. But there's going to be so much competition that someone has to lose out. Out of all these drivers, only one can win. Only one can come second, and we both know who those two names are. It's Lewis Hamilton or Max Verstappen. Unless they crash into each other or someone else, those two are coming first and second. There's one space left on the podium for one driver to shine. Bottas thinks it's his God-given right because he's in a Mercedes, and that is third. They may as well just write Bottas on the bottom of that podium. Perez is going to be pushing for it because he needs to get there to prove that he deserves the contract that Red Bull have given him. And then you've got drivers on fire like Norris. There is no reason for him to have third. He's got a good car and he's a good driver, so that's one reason for him to have third. But in terms of the standings, there's no reason for him to have third. The only reason is he's on fire and he's got massive confidence, and that can easily carry him to third. You've got Ricciardo, a lot to prove. That's why he needs to get third. Alonso, his teammate won a race, albeit under the weirdest of circumstances. His teammate won a race. He's made his comeback into Formula 1, and his comeback didn't go as he wanted to in terms of the first 6 races, which he'd said, the first 6 races, don't judge me, I'll judge me after that. But all the fans and the media and everyone are going to judge him on the first 6 races, and he didn't have that triumphant return that he wanted maybe. So he's still looking for that glory moment in F1. You've got Aston Martin, okay, I don't think they're as much in the conversation. On a good day, maybe they can clinch it if things around them go right. Then you've got what I hope happens. Ferrari, we're not expecting much from them this weekend. We know that the power unit isn't the greatest and that they're not getting an upgrade until after Monza, but I really hope so. Fuck it. Cheap. I'll have to use the bleep machine now. Cheap. Bring that illegal engine back. Oh, too loud. Bring that illegal engine back. I don't mind. I just want to hear either Charles Leclerc or Carlos Sainz wins in Monza. I want to see the fans go mad. I want to see the Tifosi show the Dutch crowd at Zandvoort what they've got. I want to see the podium celebration. I want to see it all, and I want to see redemption for Carlos Sainz. Last time out, we're all very glad that Gasly got the win, but I do feel like Sainz was robbed of it. That win was his, and he was robbed of it 100%. All credit to Gasly, he did an amazing job. But for me, on that day, I was sort of rooting for Sainz because I felt he deserved it. So if he could bring it back and pull the Ferrari even onto the podium, I think that would be good enough. And I think the crowd would be more than happy with that. Down the back of the grid, the other Ferrari-powered teams, Alfa Romeo. Yeah, Giovinazzi had a good time out last time. Raikkonen probably meant to be chucked out. I'm not sure if he cares much. But I don't think we should be expecting much from them. Haas, I don't think we should ever expect much from them. I really feel sorry for Schumacher. He's been dumped in that car. It doesn't look like he's going to get out of that car for next season now. And it must be hell. It must be so boring with your teammate trying to kill you. and a car that is no fun to drive. He's just got to slog it through this season. Apparently he's got to slog it through next season as well. But we all know that Sainz's seat has his name on it for whenever he's ready. And so, yeah, he's just got to take these years of pain. Then down at Williams, Russell, will he pull something out of the bag? Probably. Wouldn't be surprised to see him clipping the gravel here and there, showboating, massive confidence, and he's going to have massive confidence. Even though he crashed last time out, he's still going to have massive confidence. We wonder why in Spa he had the confidence to stick it right up the top of the grid, and why he was heading into Q3 at Zandvoort before he binned it. He probably just got a bit overambitious. Now we know it's because he had that contract, and that confidence is going to carry him through all the way into his first race with Mercedes. And on behalf of Hamilton, who is, in my opinion, the greatest of all time, I feel sorry for him, because he's getting some real tough competition for next year. But this isn't about next year. Monza, my top three: Hamilton, and Verstappen to crash safely. Nobody gets hurt. Just a little. Both of them to go down the back of the grid. And then I think we're going to see probably Lando winning, McLaren behind him, and let's say Ricciardo comes third. That's my wild prediction for this weekend. Let us know what your wild predictions are for this weekend, and we'll be back with the race review.